Hey there everyone, Luke here, and yeah, back to another Yozakura review. One thing I've just got to say before we begin is that for any of you who watched the modcast of me, Vex, and Songetsu doing the Power Rangers modcast, I apologise for me and Songetsu sounding a lot louder than Vex. That's an audio issue. We are unable to figure out what that is all about. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. And like I said, like we said in the modcast, we will be doing one for Dino Fury when that concludes. So yeah, without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Alright, so this is chapter 146 titled Sparring, and again, and this is quite surprising because I always thought that we weren't going to get any more chapters, like the chapters we get today until after we took down Momo. But it's nice that we're actually getting a chapter like this, like showcasing, okay, yeah, Taio's doing training to take down Momo, because even at his level right now, he's still no match for Momo, and considering the fact that Momo has Shinzo and Fruit Spur still under his control, I don't think he's going to be a match for them two when they're at full strength. I mean, yeah, sure, he did the silver ranks by exam, but I feel like they were holding back in that. I feel in an actual fight where physical damage can take place, that they will be a lot more ruthless. So it's nice that we're getting this training. So yeah, it starts off with Taio just sweating and panting as he is sparring against Kyorichio of all people, because of course, yeah, you're gonna have, if you want to take down the big bad, you're gonna have to take on the strongest of the Yozakura siblings. And despite what people think, facts are facts, Kyorichio is stronger than every single one of the Yozakura siblings probably put together at this point. So it's kind of a sucky pill to swallow, but those are the facts. So he's the best one for this job. And yeah, we had the Spikes family chat this week focusing on Yuri, and yeah, he can stay out. Like, nobody wants to talk about Yuri. Now, again, the thing why I prefer Kyorichio over Yuri is that Yuri has not changed as far as I can tell. Like, I'm sure someone will say that, oh no, he's changed, he's got better, but he's still the same Siscon he was when he was first introduced. Kyorichio, while still having those elements, at least has more to his character now, and he at least begrudgingly accepts Taio, but for reasons we'll get into when we get into them in the transfer. But yeah, so Taio is just sweating profusely and just being like, oh, I can't hit Kyorichio, and Kyorichio is just there being like, just smug, calm, and just being like, come at me, Taio. Basically doing what Hisoko did with Gon in Hunter, where he's just like, come at me, Gon. Kyorichio's like this now, like, yeah, just come at me, give me your best shot. And Taio goes to try and kick him, and it's just basically like, oh, you're going to kick me, so I'm just going to slightly dodge out of the way. And yeah, Kyorichio is just like, oh, you're going to kick me? Basically just grabs Taio's foot with such a cool aesthetic about him and just flips him around, and Taio goes for a swing at his head, but Kyorichio is just like, oh, I'm just gonna swiftly bow to you, and at this point Kyorichio is just like, oh, I'm gonna throw you into the ground and just start beating at you profusely, Taio, before Mutsumi is like, okay, Kyorichio, I think he's had enough now. I think he gets the point here. And Kai is there as well, observing this training, and like I said, this is for reasons we'll get into when we get into the end of the chapter. And Kyorichio is just like, as Kai is holding him back after attacking Taio, Kyorichio's like, Oh, come on, Mutsumi. He didn't even tap out at that point. He didn't even tap it out at that point. And at this point, Mutsumi's just like had enough of a moment. Like, look, this is my husband. You're not giving him a fair chance here. And do that again, and I won't speak to you anymore. And Kyorichio's like, okay, yeah, that's fine. But I'm still going to give you my love anyway, Mutsumi, even if you ignore me. So, yeah, even if you ignore me, I'm still going to be around here giving you my love. So you're not going to get away from that. And yeah, besides, Tayo asks for this, and Musumi's like, what? Like, she didn't expect Kyorichio to say that. Yeah, Tayo asked for this. Basically, yeah, don't go easy on me, Kyorichio. Give me everything you've got, because I want this to actually happen. And this is where we get the explanation of why Tayo actually agreed to this, in the sense that his attacks are capable of affecting Momo, and if he can fight in the profuse blooming of thousand flowers form, he could be the ace in the hole. But right now, basically Tayo can't handle the toll of the power. So yeah, it's basically like what Kyorichio is saying here is like, okay, yeah, Tayo is our ace at the hole. He can fight Momo with this power, but at the same time, the power is taking a toll of him. It's kind of like how Kenpachi, when he first activated this Bonkai in the final arc of Bleach, which by the way, coming in less than a month's time now. But yeah, basically when Kenpachi went into his Bonkai, and how even though he was super strong and he could fight Gerard on his own, the pressure of his Bonkai was still taking a toll on him, in the sense that he hadn't quite mastered it yet. It's kind of the same thing here. Like, yeah, Tayo can go into the profuse blooming of a thousand flowers form, but at the same time, his body has not become majorly adjusted to the form itself, and it's taken a toll on his body. So they're trying to get that power up to a level where he can control it, because it extracts his strength, reflexes, and stamina, and it quickly drains him. And when it quickly drains him, then he's completely useless in a fight. That is what Kyorichio is saying here, and Tayo basically confirms this as like, yes, this is why I asked Kyorichio to train me in this way. It'll be okay, and I want to do everything I can possibly do to help. But as Tayo was saying, he's saying it's like, oh, it's okay, Mutsumi, I'm alright. And then he just gets like a whack from Kyorichio's steel spine, just bundled together, and it just goes into like a comedic stance there, and Kyorichio explains that no matter how great the power, it's useless if you can't master the basics. And pretty standard. That's basically the equivalent of Byakuya again in Bleach saying like, oh yeah, you may have mastered Bonkai, you may have gained Bonkai, but can you master it? Because in order to master Bonkai, not just attain it, you have to train at least for 10 years. This is basically what it's saying. Like, yeah, you have the power, Tayo, but if you don't master it, then it's pretty useless to you. And now we're about to get into my favourite part of the chapter, basically confirming a theory that I have had quite some time, and I brought this up with Party Jams in the Control Chaos Discord, but we'll get into that in a second. They mentioned like, oh, it's only going to take a few more days for Shion to pinpoint exactly where Momo is, so we've got to speed run through this hole quickly, and the fastest and easiest route is to basically essentially beat the basics into Tayo, so that he's up to a level to where he can at least fight on Momo. Whether or not he can beat him, that's another story. Now, personally, I don't think Tayo is at Momo's level yet. Like, remember what Momo had to do in order to just geyser blood out of Tayo. Now, keep in mind, this was before he got the blooming, but at the same time, just one touch from Momo was basically all that was needed for Tayo to just be like, what? Just geysering blood when he was first introduced in the series. So yeah, I don't think Tayo is on that level yet still, but he's getting up there. But at the same time, if he goes up against Momo here, it might not work out as quickly for him, because at the same time, he's not really taken on Momo in a one-on-one fight. He's always had support from Kyorichio and others around them. Like, mostly Kyorichio game out of situations, was probably like why Kyorichio is so annoyed by him. Like, this guy's meant to be my sister's husband, and yet I'm having to bail him out every single time. Yeah, I can understand why Kyorichio might be a little bit pissy with Tayo now. Now that I look at it that way, like, he's meant to be my sister's husband, and he's meant to be protecting her because she's the head of the household, and yet I'm still having to bail his arse out of everything. But anyway, Kai goes on and says, oh, this is why the Yozakuras are too much for normies to handle, and Kyorichio's just there like, excuse me, I doubt you're considered normal here, normally, well, compared to what most would consider a normal person. Kai mentions that he understands what it's like. Normal people have their own style and their own pace at which they can go, and you just see him touching Tayo on his body, and all of a sudden you see like this wave of like, I guess you want to say wave of healing, because as soon as that happens, the pain and exhaustion are gone away. So this is leading. I think it's going down that. I think it's going down the path that Kai has a blooming. Kyorichio gave him a blooming. Now, I know what people are going to say, like, again, it's been mentioned that only the head's blood can be passed on to other people. But again, I've had this theory for a while that is not partially true. I mean, yes, the blood can be passed on by the head, and it's the more effective one, the one that can get the profuse of 1,000 blooming out there, and whatnot. But at the same time, I believe that was partially a lie to keep people from finding out the secret. Like, oh wait, any of the siblings can give out the blood to anyone. We've got to capture them. We've got to capture them. Oh my god! I've just realised something. What if Momo has captured Futaba and Shinzo and has drained their blood so that he can create more Hayasaka drugs to get more of the Hayasaka blooming, basically the modified blooming that was happening when he was with Tampopo, and it's not just Mutsumi's, but it can be done with any of the siblings, because it still just boggles my mind again why it's just one sibling out of all of them that can do that. Like, no, all of them could potentially do it, but at the same time, I would say, like, well, the head's one, because it is from the head, that can give out the more offensive one, whereas the ones from any of the other siblings can be more supportive, like this one with Kai, how he's able to just touch a body part and it just instantly heals up. So it might just be a healing blooming. It might just be called what would you call it? If it is a blooming, what would you call it? Like revitalization. There we go. That's the word that we use for it. So yeah, it just seems so like confusing, because if it wasn't a blooming, then it probably wouldn't have made that shockwave. But at the same time, the fact that it makes that shockwave and it instantly heals up Tayo, and not only that, but it boosts his stamina and everything. Yeah, this has to be a blooming, or at least a variation of the blooming. Let me go back and actually see what Pyjon's actually put in Discord. Come on. Let me get to it. Let me get to it. Where is it? Mission Yozakura. There we go. The Mission Yozakura. Yeah. Yeah. So Pyjon's was basically saying, like, he also feels like this chapter was saying he was an ordinary person, obviously referring to Kai here, who's struggling his way up. So I'm not sure that's the best route for his character to go down, because I was giving off my theory about this. But the way I interpret what Kai is saying here, what Kai says in this chapter, is that he's just like Tayo, and how Tayo struggled to get his way up to get to the power boost that he has now. It's the same thing with Kai, because they have such similar backstories and such similar situations of how they came into the family. It's more that it's too much of a coincidence to think, like, yeah, Kai doesn't have some form of blooming. So anyway, continuing on, after Kai heals him up and senses where the pressure points were and what Tayo's body needs, he was able to boost and focus his reflexes a bit and make him relax and let his body accumulate to the professed blooming and grow. So yeah, Kai, he has to have a blooming. Like, again, I'm not gonna go off. I'm not gonna keep keep this. I'm not gonna let this go until it's actually confirmed because just look at. There's gotta be some clue here. Let me. Okay, there's nothing in his eyes like to suggest like it is. Oh, come on, just confirm it to me already. But yeah, continuing on. As the training resumes and Kyorichio goes to attack Tayo, we see Tayo just dodge completely out of the way. So like Kyorichio goes to slash at Tayo with the steel spider, but Tayo's just like and just speedily dodges away from Kyorichio as it looks like Kyorichio's steel spider is in Wolverine claws, and this is where Tayo is like, I feel lighter. Strength is welling up inside me. I can even face Kyorichio like this. Okay, don't get too cocky, Tayo, because we know what happens when you get too cocky with Kyorichio. He pulls something out from under you to make you think like, yeah, you may have gotten one up over me here, Tayo, but still stronger than you. But yeah, Kyorichio knows that this is Kai, obviously, and he's like, "Oh, that was so unnecessary. That was so unnecessary, Kai." And obviously, Mutsumi is just amazed by this. Like, "Oh, you're making my husband beat my brother. Oh, yeah. I like the way you do things much better than Kyorichio, Kai." And it's like, "Oh, you flatter me, Mutsumi." And this is where Kyorichio gets like really mightily pissed off. It's like, oh, you don't want to do that because I am standing right here. And yeah, Tayo was just like, he's going to take this out on me even though this has hardly anything to do with me. But yeah, we cut to later on after the whole training where Tayo was just like really weakened by it, but he's like, oh, I would have been killed if it hadn't have been for Mutsumi and Kai obviously stop it. Mostly Kai stopping Kyorichio from having his way with me. And I love the moment here where it's like where Tayo's thinking back on how the training ended, and Kyorichio's like, "Oh, now give me my sandbag. I mean Tayo back." Okay, that line was very funny because Kai is just like, "Oh, Tayo is an actual person. He's not your meat bag here." It's like, "Give me my sandbag. I mean Tayo back." See, you're calling me sandbag. But yeah, it seems that after that they start getting into fight. But I feel like that's the way they communicate how much they actually care about it. It's just like, oh, we fight with each other because we spar with each other to get even stronger. And we see that Kai is actually wrestling. We see that he's got this big gash on his back. Not really sure what this is actually indicative of. If it is to do with his training to get blooming, if he has a blooming, and it just was overpowering him at the time, and it left that giant scar on his back, or whether it's to do with his accident that got him orphaned in the first place. But anyway, he's saying that, oh, he can't reach it. So Tayo, will you help me out here? Press down on a spot exactly 4.3 centimeters from where my finger is, and as Tayo does this, he's like, oh, press less with the tip of your finger and more with the pad. And as he does this, like the shockwave comes again. Like, okay, what is this power? Like, it's this from the blue. Like, seriously, this is just gonna like have me thinking about this for a whole while now. But yeah, Kai is just like, oh, the spot it's the best one for dealing with exhaustion. Too bad I can't reach it on my own. And this is where Tayo's like, not only are you strong, you've got this power, incredible. But Kai dismisses it as not being incredible. It's only a freak accident that gave me senses sharper than most. I'm totally average, normal, under it all. No, you're not, Kai. You're incredible. You're an incredible guy. To make it in this world, to keep up with Kyorichio, I busted my butt to learn what skills I could learn. I could. That's one of them. So maybe again, like, because the only way to keep up with Kyorichio is to have a blooming yourself. I think that is pretty much established at this point. The only way to keep up with Kyorichio is to have a blooming yourself. So yeah, Kai has a blooming. I am calling it right now. He has a blooming. It's going to be revealed in this arc that where they're actually going to go and rescue Shinzo and Fruitsbat. Like, I am waiting for that moment where they actually find out, like, oh, the blooming doesn't only come from the head of the family, it actually comes from all our siblings, but on different scales. Kai goes on to explain that he's finally found a place he could belong, and he wants to protect that place. In that regard, he's the same as Tayo, and I feel like the place that he's referring to is obviously the Yozakura family house, but also more so Kyorichio, because even though Kyorichio can be a bit rough on the edges, Kai is one of the few people that actually gets him and understands him, and Kyorichio took a liking to Kai, and that's what blossomed their friendship, possible romance. Still keeping that idea in mind that they're probably to get together. They just like to keep that privately more to themselves, which is fine. A lot of people like that. They like to keep their relationships between each other. That's perfectly fine. But yeah, they are the same regardless, because they both were involved in accidents, both became orphans, they were both taken in by the Yozakura family, and like I said, I feel like that's why Kyorichio is reluctantly accepting of Tayo being part of the family, because it's like, he reminds me of Kai, and god damn it. But yeah, he goes on to say that I know how rough it is for normal people to try and cut it in the spy world. I couldn't help but stick my nose into it back there. Kyorichio is a naturally gifted son of a spy family. He just doesn't understand normal people's limits. Yet, I don't think he understands any limits. Like, Kyorichio doesn't understand any limits, which is why everyone has to keep reminding him of it. Like, yeah, I think they've had enough Kyorichio, so stop it before we beat you. We beat it into you. But Kai understands, like, yeah, the training isn't meant to be harsh. He just takes it way too far sometimes, and he does intend to mess with you. And Tao's just like, haha, but he's more like understatement of the century right there, Kai. And this is where Kai's like, oh, you've got a lot going for you, Tayo, take your time, polish your skills, and I know that they'll shine. Bright enough to stand out amongst the gifted even. I can replicate what it's like to spar with Kyorichio and help you progress slow and steady. So, yeah, he's basically saying, like, yeah, I know Kyorichio, so I know how he spars, I know how he fights, so I will be a lot more softer with you, but at the same time be as proficient as Kyorichio in order to get you up to that level, so that we can shot Kyorichio together. And Tayo's just like, yeah, sounds good, because I really want to stick it to Kyorichio right now. So they start sparring, and the next day it seems like Kyorichio is starting to take notice of, like, oh, okay, yeah, he's got a little bit better. One night, and his movement is already on a different level. The profuse booming told on his speed and stamina reduced to a minimum, and then he instantly puts two and two together, like, this was your doing, Kai, wasn't it? And Kai's just like, just grinning there, like, of course it was me, who else would it be? And he's just like, damn it, Kai. And also we have Goliath and I just watching in right now. Before I don't know if it's Tayo. No, it is Tayo activating the Hacker White Flower. And which was like, impressive, Tayo. You hold back to minimize the toll it takes on you, releasing it only in intense spurts. You found your normal person way, I see, and it basically reluctant to say, like, yeah, you're on a level to face Momo now. Whether or not you'll defeat him, that's another story. And personally, like I said, I don't believe he's going to defeat Momo, but we'll get into that now, because it seems like they've actually found Momo. Shio's just like, oh, well then, it looks like it's... Kyorichio's like, oh, well, it looks like it's time to begin. As Shinzo's advanced form of her hacking is like, attention everyone in the house, Momo Yozakura has been found, and that's where the chapter ends. So it seems like he is on a battleship. So yeah, we're going to get probably a better boat arc than the one we had in Spy X Family, which I'm looking forward to. But anyway, yes, that's the chapter. Not really much in terms of advancing the story. It's more like a character development chapter between Kai, Kyorichio and Tayo, but also getting Tayo up to the level where he's like, yeah, we could go on this mission. Now, the fact, again, that they have Aiden, like, again, I feel like something bad is going to, like, going to wait until the next chapter before making the assumption, like, if she actually does come on this mission to save Futaba and Shinso, because it seems like she would want to because of how they helped her develop her skills. So yeah, that would make sense. Whether or not she'll be manipulated by Momo, that's another story. We're just gonna have to wait and see. Now, again, the only thing I've got to talk about here is like Kai's powers. Like, they have to be a blooming. Like, I know I've mentioned this throughout the chapter, but yeah, Kai has some sort of power. Like, there's no doubt about that. Kai has some sort of power. Now, whether or not it's going to be a power that Taiyo himself can access, if it is, whether or not it is another form of blooming or just a different power altogether, that remains to be seen. But personally, if that's the case, then that will make me so happy, because then it means, like, oh, we can find out exactly what Kai's abilities are, what Shuru's abilities are, because I'm sure if Kai has it from Kyorichio, Shuru would probably have it from Futaba, and Ginga would probably have it from Shinon, and maybe get more development on their path, like why they came to choose these people in particular. But that's all for later, and I have no idea what's going to happen in the next chapter, whether or not we're actually going to just skip to the part where they're actually infiltrating the battleship. That remains to be seen, and who is going to be on this mission. Like, obviously, Kai will have to be on this mission, because we've had so much. Maybe have Shuru, Alex, and Ginga there as well. Maybe have them part of this mission, or the master in the last chapter. I've totally forgotten her name, but Keigo's master, maybe have her part of the battleship, and it's revealed like some of them are members of this Zodiac group, if that's actually going to come true. But that's all for later, and that remains to be seen. But anyway, guys, what did you think of this chapter? Let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz, and this will be Lasherluke signing off. Later, guys.